Alright, this is John Colo at DiscountJuicers.com. Today we have another exciting episode for you. Today we're going to be talking all about the Nama juicer, which is getting rave reviews by many other YouTubers online. I have videos where, sometimes it's working really well and I like it, and sometimes I have videos that it doesn't work so well and I may not like it as much, right? This is life. I tell it like it is. On some levels, the Nama is such an amazing machine because of some of the design features it has, and for certain tasks I do, it is completely amazing. For other tasks, it kind of fails. In addition, I've also basically had to have 3 warranty claims. 2 of them are up here, one of them has been thrown away actually, and I'll cover that in this episode. And the other reason for this episode is because of some comments that were on YouTube when I did a demonstration comparison between the Nama and the Omega VSJ843. There were some comments in there that, concern me, so I wanted to address them and bring them out. Basically, some of the comments were saying, I'm biased! So I want to talk more about that for you in this episode so that you guys have the full exact truth and nothing but the truth in my personal opinion and my views on this topic, alright? So first off, I want to cover the comments. So first I'm going to read each comment and respond to them. So the link to the video that have these comments underneath it are in the description below, so be sure to check that out because it's my in-depth, over 1 hour long comparison of the Nama versus the VSJ, where I compare them side to side and go over the pros and the cons. My videos are meant for educational purposes to show you guys literally a juicer expert's opinions on different juicers. I'm not a noob that just got the juicer in the mail, or somebody that's been juicing for a couple years and gets the Nama, or an influencer that is basically, gonna say things about a juicer because that's the only one I sell. I sell the Nama, I sell the VSJ, I sell all the major, brands that allow me to sell them in the America, because I want to know the best juicer. Why would I do that for you guys? Well, yes, partly, but also more importantly for me, because I juice every day. After this video, I'm going to be juicing probably about at least a dozen romaine hearts that I'll be discussing in a little bit for my green juice. So I juice basically about every other day, honestly, sometimes every day actually. And so it's important for me to get the best juicer for my needs, but also share that with you, because at one point I was you. I was in your shoes. I was looking at companies selling juicers, and this was the times before there was the internet, and I didn't know what juicer to buy. And there was a company that actually put out a catalog, and they had comparison charts and all these things. I was like, wow, I like this company. They're really trying to go out of their way to educate me about juicers and show the differences and the pros and cons of each one. So I've basically taken what they do, bring it to a digital format where I can basically compare juicers side by side so that you guys can learn the best ones. If you guys choose to, watch my videos, and if not, hey, more power to you. You could read Amazon reviews or other reviews online of people that aren't maybe as qualified, in my personal opinion. I mean, if you want to get some dental work done, you don't want to go to your tax attorney or something like that. You want to go to the guy that knows. And of all the people that I've ever met in the world, I know the most about juicers. I do the most reviews by far online about juicers. I probably run more produce through juicers than anybody else online, as shown by my videos, alright? So that's what you're going to get when you watch my videos. You're going to get my expert commentary. Am I biased? Well, I'll be discussing that. So let's get into some of these comments. First comment was by Live Life Lori. I'm 10 minutes into this video, and without even trying to juice, I already know he's anti-Nama. You can tell the way he's speaking already. Ooh, am I anti-Nama? Here's the thing, I think Nama is an amazing company. They're doing some things that are completely amazing. They definitely have a high level of customer service, especially after an incident I had of maybe not getting the best service from them. They're innovating and making new products that hopefully come out later this year, to take juicing and food processing to the next level, which I've, become privy to, but I have not seen or heard about anything yet. I like the owner of the company. He seems like an honest and genuine guy. He's an excellent business person. They have a really good marketing department. I will definitely give them that. And, they do the best they can with the machines they got, with the constraints they have, because they are not the manufacturer, right? anyways, that's a different topic. So, am I anti-Nama? I would personally say I am not anti-Nama. I am anti certain juicers that don't perform well and frustrate me when I use them. I will say that, and more importantly, I want you guys to know my frustrations, right? For better or worse, and in terms of relationships, this is definitely a worse. It has not served me in life. I am what's called an exception person. So, you know, when you're a kid, you know, you're in grade school, you gotta like pick out like, there's like pictures of something on the page, like circles, and then there's like one triangle. And like I've become really good at picking out that triangle every time with juicers or other things in my life. You know, maybe it's called nitpicking, maybe it's, you know, seeing the differences in things and be able to explain those to you guys. And sometimes this helps me in life, and sometimes it's not so good in the terms of comparing juicers. I believe this, being an exception person and looking for the exceptions in life, is actually an excellent skill to have so that I could better serve you guys, to show you guys the differences in relationships. And in some cases it hasn't served me well, you know, and I'll just stop at that. Next comment is from Stargazer LSE. This guy really hates the Nama. All right, so, you know, so do I hate the Nama? You know, hate is a strong word. I want to spread love, not hate. And there are reasons why I like the Nama, and there are reasons why I don't like the Nama so much. Much like your husband, your wife, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, there are probably things you love about them. Hey, I love that he has muscles, but I don't like so much that maybe he isn't the sharpest tool in the shed. Whatever it is, I don't really care. You know, there's things I like and dislike about everything, and there's plenty of things I like about Nama, but there are also things that I don't like, all right? Next comment is from Roxanne Little. Why did you feed it in that way? You went leaf side first with your favorite juicer and then did the stem side first with the Nama. You were also more forceful with the Nama. Not cool, man. All right, so let me go ahead and explain what happened. So in the video, I'm juicing lettuce, romaine hearts, and on the VSJ, which actually this is the tops of the VSJ, which I'll be talking about in a second, it has a much larger feed chute than the feed chute on the Nama. Look at that. I mean, it's literally almost half the size. So what does this mean? So on the VSJ, I could literally take this romaine heart, slice it completely in half. When I slice it completely in half, literally one whole half of this will go in to the juicer fairly easily, right? And I'm feeding it actually stem side down because sometimes I don't pay attention, although I know the best practices, right? And this will go into the juicer and juice fairly well. Sometimes I'll crunch it down a little bit just to fit. Obviously, the better way to juice it would be to put the, you know, the leaves in first. Now, why would it be better to put the leaves in first and the stem side in last? Well, here's the thing. The leaves are kind of hard to go through the juicer. The juicer will kind of grab onto them, and they will go through. But the stem end has that stock. It's really nice and watery and provides more fibrous content, you know, to the auger to kind of help push those leaves through. So in the video I said that it's always best to push the leaves in first this direction, and then, you know, and then these guys will follow by pushing the leaves. But that being said, even if you feed it the other way, so for example, if I fed it this way first, John, you said it's not going to do it. Well, I said it's not optimal. It's not that it's not going to work. If I feed this end first, then what happens is the fibrous end, which works better in the juicer, is going to go in first, followed by the leaves end, which is not good. But then if you put the next piece in, you then have this the same you know, hard part going in the stem end, which helps the leaves part that just went in before it. So it doesn't make a significant difference. Is it a small, minute difference and is it optimal? It is not optimal. But you know, I'm human and I'm not perfect, and sometimes I'm not paying attention, and during a juice off, I'm really into it. You know, like if you guys are watching a sports game, you're not worried about what's going on over here, you're watching your sports game, you're so into it. And so I ain't perfect, and that's what I'm going to say. That being said, my personal opinion is that even if I fed it in perfectly, the right end, the right way, the right time, the results would not be any significantly different, all right? Okay, so that's the first thing. Not cool that I fit it in the wrong way. Yes, my bad. I apologize. I messed up, but my personal opinion, because I've also juiced in the Nama a lot before I made that video, the same thing always happens when I juice straight leafy greens in it, no matter what way I feed it. And you could take me at my word for that, or you could buy a Nama and buy the VSJ and try it yourself. You know, if you use the same exact juicers that I use and the same exact lettuce and do the same test yourself, I'm 100% confident that you will get a very similar result and you have a very similar experience. Will it be exactly alike? No, but it's going to be very similar. My experience is representative of what can happen with the juicers. Unless, the only difference is if you diced up everything super small and then dropped it in the machine, then it would work a lot better. So, using it the way I did. Now, should I chop everything up and chop everything super small and put it in the Nama? I could have did that, but then what? Then the time would have been like 15 minutes to juice versus 5 minutes to juice in the VSJ. Is it worth all your extra time? I'm surely not going to chop up all my greens when I shouldn't have to, in my personal opinion. As you guys can tell, I'm quite passionate about juicers, and I'm quite passionate about the truth being out there, all right? So the next thing is, you are also more forceful with the Nama. Not cool, man. All right, so here's the thing. The Nama, due to the design, the produce does not go in as easy as with the VSJ. This is for two reasons. Number one, the feed chute is a stoppage point. It does not allow you to put in things as quickly or easily. I mean, here's half the bunch and it's just getting stuck. So like what? You're supposed to leave it there. You could be forceful and push it down in there and jam it in there, and then it's going to go in there. Now the other thing is, aside from that aspect, is that when it does hit the auger, and I disclose this in the video if people paid attention to the video, when you put it in the auger, and I don't have the VSJ auger with me, but basically the auger, the top part of the auger is a little bit more narrow, and it does not as easily accept produce in. Things don't drop in as easily and get juiced up. You do have to use the pusher more with the Nama than the VSJ. That is a fact. I will stake my life on it. That has been my personal experience. Yours, of course, may be different, but this is my personal experience, and I use juicers a lot. Even if I pre-cut things and drop it in the Nama, I will see it, hang at the bottom of the feed chute, something that rarely happens with the VSJ due to its design. So that's why I had to be more forceful, because if you're not forceful, things are going to sit in the chute and not go into the juicer, and you will just basically end up wasting your time. All right? I guess the ideal situation is if you chopped up everything for both juicers and then drop everything in and see what happened, right? I'm not going to chop up things I don't need to chop up. I see people dicing up their carrots and dicing up all these things that I don't believe you should chop up. If you want to waste time in your life with juicing and taking longer, that's up to you. Things will always work better generally chopped up, but sometimes when you chop things up like carrots small, that may not work as well in the juicer because it does like to take off large bites, and the large bites it takes off juice a little bit better in my personal opinion. So the last comment is from Leland Sledge. I came here because I thought fully Raw Christina was biased in her promotion of Nama, but he's just as biased with Omega SMH. I don't know what SMH means. So, I can't comment on fully Raw Christina. I am not her. I do know that she promotes and sells the Nama, gets money from Nama when, she sells a juicer with her promotion code. And other than that, I can't really comment on how she's acting or what she's showing. I will honestly say that some of the videos that I've seen with her, with the Nama, in my opinion, and some of the comparisons are flawed. I made a long 2-hour-long video, if you guys care to watch, where I show the whole process, nothing but the process, and show the truth. Link is down below to that video, which my truthful and honest, review. But, her videos will get a lot more views than mine because, hey, I think she's a lot more pretty than I am, personally. And they are much shorter than I do, but they're also, please be aware, they're also clipped up. And she shows segments, whereas I show the whole process. I just try to tell it like it is. I'm not trying to, make up something or make one juicer better than the other. I show the honest truth, right? So I guess the part in question is biased. What does biased mean? So let me read the definition off for you. Biased, unfairly prejudiced for or against someone or something. So I want to give you guys like an example of how I believe this situation is. So for example, if you dated a guy and then things didn't work out, and he tried to maybe make some advances on you and was going things too far, and you told him stop, and he didn't stop, and he kept going, and then you finally, luckily, nothing happened bad, and then you went your ways and never talked to him again. But then you find out one of your friends, your girlfriends, is going out the same guy. Would you not warn your girlfriend that, like, hey, that guy, he tried some things on me, like, I'm concerned for your safety? Would you not warn your girlfriend? And are you being biased against that person because you are telling your girlfriend that has never gone out with a guy about your experience with the guy? Is that biased? I would say personally not, and I would encourage you guys, if that would happen to you, to please do that, to help your, fellow friend out. So here's the thing. For me, I don't personally believe I am biased against, the Nama juicer, and here's why. I didn't just, in the video I didn't just pick up the Nama and make the video, with no prior experience. And I didn't just like the Omega because I like the Omega. I've been selling the Omega. I've disclosed that the Omega VSJ843 is my favorite juicer at this time, which is subject to change at any time, for years, and I had a long experience with it. But I've gotten the Nama at least 6 months prior to making that video. I used it, I checked it out, I put it through its ringer, through juicing it in all different kinds of ways in my personal life before making a video about it. So I have a history, an experience. I've juiced the straight romaine in it plenty of times, and I've seen this exact same results I got in the video that I shared with you guys. So am I prejudiced because I'm sharing with you guys my personal experiences with the juicers as a juicer expert? Once again, I'm not a person that just got this machine in the mail. I've been juicing now since 1995 straight, using hundreds of different kinds of juicers over the many years I've been juicing. I've surely produced over 500, maybe 600 videos on YouTube that are uploaded that you guys could watch at any time, to see all the different comparisons I've done to show my, whatever, that I'm authentic. I keep it real, and I'm consistent on what I say. I'm not making anything new up about the VSJ, and the Nama is a new juicer to me compared to some of the other models. So I'm just kind of sharing like it is. So I don't think I'm unfairly prejudiced. I have a history with the Nama, at least that goes back 6 months, juicing like every other day, because for a while I stopped using my VSJ. Actually, it was actually broken. Actually, that was one of the reasons, and I couldn't get parts. And I started using the Nama and to see how it would work. And I learned it inside out by using it so much that I also share my videos. So there's some backstory. It's not just like open this box up and then I used it, okay? So I'm not here to convince you of anything, but I want to share the truth with you guys so that you guys know the truth, because that's just how I am, all right? And if I seem biased, that's because I do have my favorites. Absolutely, I will 100% say that. The VSJ has been my favorite for many years for many reasons, some of which are disclosed in the video with the Nama, and why even machines, if I had a Huron machine that worked like the Nama, I'd say the same exact things. It wouldn't just because it's a Nama, it's because the juicer, has some things that aren't quite good at it. Of course, there's things about the Nama that I love. I made a more recent video of how I juice medicinal fruits, which I have some Malabar spinach berries, which are high in beta-cyanins, and I didn't use the VSJ. I used the Nama. Why would I use the Nama if I hated it so much? Because in this specific situation with the berries, the Nama honestly crushes better than the VSJ. It crushes to a finer particle pulp size and extracts more nutrients on one level, but it has back pressure at the same time. So when you're juicing the greens that get clogged up and jammed in there, it oxidizes more, potentially even making more yield, but it's oxidizing more. But in the case of berries, which is a different fruit, the VSJ would put out a bit wetter pulp, than the Nama. The Nama gets a more complete crush and grind that I've noticed. So it depends. You can't say the Nama is always better, the VSJ is always better. There's times when I will choose to use the Nama instead of the VSJ, but for the most part, across the board, I would choose the VSJ. Much like most of you guys have more than one pair of shoes. For hiking, you're going to use this pair of shoes. For going to the office, you're going to, wear some dress shoes or whatever. I'm like that. I have many different juicers to use. But in general, most people are not going to have 20 juicers. I mean, I'm looking at a collection of at least a dozen juicers right now as I'm filming to choose for every different item they're going to juice, because that's the one that's optimal for doing that, right? They're going to have one juicer that could basically do a wide range of things. and that's why overall I still prefer the VSJ, if you're only going to have one juicer instead of the Nama. Alright, so lastly I want to cover in this episode some challenges I have had with the Nama and why I've had actually 3 warranty requests with my Nama juicer to date so far. This is important because in the same amount of period of time, I had basically 0 warranty claims with my VSJ. Now, has my VSJ failed me over the years and has a part broken and has a magnet gone out in it? Absolutely. And actually, I was waiting for parts at some point on the Omega. That's why I was using my Nama. So, I break juicers like United can break guitars, but I don't break juicers that much because I use them properly. But sometimes things are just not designed well, in my opinion, and could be improved. And, that's why, once again, the design on the Omega for durability, in my opinion, is better than the Nama, okay? Despite the Nama grinding and pressing more on berries, So you can't, everybody wants to, what's the best juicer, John? Should I buy the Nama? It's hard to, I could tell you the criteria, and if you're going to juice these things, if you're only ever going to juice Malabar spinach berries, get the Nama instead of the VSJ. If you're going to juice lettuce, don't get the Nama, get the VSJ, right? It depends. If you want just one juicer, get the VSJ, not the Nama, right? So that's the thing. But anyways, if you want a more durable juicer, I'd say get the VSJ, not the Nama, because I've already actually had 3 issues with the parts. The first issue wasn't handled as quickly from the manufacturer as I would like. And then the second 2 were handled, I'd say, satisfactory. Maybe not super, super excellent because there's a little bit delay in shipping. But we are in the, virus times. So that's probably to be expected. So let me go ahead and share with you guys the 3 issues I've had with the Nama. 2 of which are up here and 1 of them has been chucked. Alright. So the first issue I had with the Nama is due to the design, in my opinion, because it has higher torque and better grinding, and more back pressure on the pulp from coming out, which actually gives it a higher yield in some cases. What happens is things will get underneath the auger and it'll jack the auger up, right? So what happens is this auger will rise up and then kind of get a little bit taller. So this center post will get a little bit taller on there and then basically put pressure on this top set. When that happens, the issue is, and this happens to, YouTubers that make reviews of the Nama, I can't get the top off. This is especially problematic if you're not pre-cutting your celery and or juicing things like ginger, even if you pre-cut them, as I found out. So what happens after juicing for a while and you're getting a lot of buildup and the auger is pressing up on this part here, what happened to mine is that this part, if you ran a straight edge across it, would be bowed. So this is an over-exaggeration. So the middle would be kind of bowed up and the sides are bowed down. So what happens when that happens, then what would happen is, right here at the base, because this is 2 parts, you have a black part and then you have a clear part, and these are basically glued in at the factory. On mine, because we bowed it, in the middle, there would be a little crack here, maybe a little crack in the back. At first the crack was really small, it didn't affect things, but then the crack grew, and then juice would start leaking out of the little crack, and also it was a wear point. So I saw some of the stress marks on this part here, and then it got so bad that it was leaking pretty bad every time I was juicing, and then I just requested a replacement part from Nama, and they didn't get the inquiry at first because they didn't get my voice message, but then when I emailed them and told them about it in the video, they got me the part out immediately, which was actually shipped air, which was impressive. And then I was fine for a while. So then what happened was, I was juicing fine, and then what happened was, this happened. This is the next top set I got, right? And the same exact thing happened to this top set, right? This bowed and it cracked, and if you guys look at that, I don't know if you guys could look at that, I don't have is my knife a straight edge, but if my knife is a straight edge, you can see this is really bowed. So when it bows, if it's not that hard, you can get it unstuck. In this case, I was juicing ginger, turmeric, ginseng, and probably rosemary, and it got stuck in there, and then I'm trying to crank on the top to remove it, this top set here, and what happened was I was trying to pull so hard that it literally broke this whole top feed chute off the bottom, and you can see it's still basically bowed up there, and you can see there's a crack right there on the top set. And to date, I cannot get this piece apart. I might have to try further. I'm probably going to have to drill it out or something like that to get the parts on the inside. That being said, I told Nama what happened, and they basically sent me a brand new top set. So I was happy about that they actually took care of that. I mean, you know, that's customer service for you. So customer service wise, I have zero complaints. And honestly, if I had to say whose customer service is better, Nama or Omega, I'll tell you guys the truth. Nama's customer service is better than Omega because I have so many customers that are trying to contact Omega and they can't even contact Omega, and there's many reasons for that, including, you know, loss of a vice president that I've known for 20 years that is no longer with the company for some reason, you know, and he was really customer service oriented, and also new ownership, which is, in my personal opinion, trying to maximize profits. That being said, the juicer's still good. So customer service issues bother you. Maybe you might want to really bother you, might not want to get an Omega, although I can confidently tell you guys that I do get service for my customers that buy the juicer from Discount Juicers, because I basically have connections at the company with some of the staff that ensure my customers are taken care of. That still may take, you know, up to a week to get a reply, but I will ensure my customers are taken care of, so be confident in that. So yeah, this is the second issue I had with the Nama, which is actually the same thing as the first. This part basically bowed up, and I could not get the machine apart, despite using my best practices or techniques, right? So that's bad when I'm using my techniques, and it's still jamming up, and I cannot get it apart because, I mean, if I can't get this apart, and trust me, I've gotten a lot of juices apart, you're not going to get this apart. And so here's the thing. This is why the Omega part is superior, alright? So you can clearly see on the Nama, this is black, and this is translucent. These are two unique separate pieces on the Nama. Whereas on the Omega, this part is completely black. And at this point down here where it mates up, I'm not seeing any kind of, I'm not feeling or seeing any kind of, you know, groove, you know, or mating part where it was actually glued in. So in my personal opinion, this is one whole piece that, you know, can better deal with wrenching on if it is stuck when you're trying to disassemble your juicer, so it's not going to break off on you like the Nama. So this is a more durable part. In addition, my also personal opinion is that, you know, due to the feed chute design and the auger design, things drop into the feed chute a little bit better. That being said, despite this, you still need to properly use a vertical juicer. I'll post a link down below to the video. Juice like a pro in any vertical slow juicer. You want to watch that video so that you could minimize, you know, having the top set get stuck on, because you want to avoid that from occurring in the first place, and it should not happen at all, or maybe on a rare instance when you're not paying attention and not following my procedures, which are not explained in any instruction manual when you buy a vertical juicer, which is sad in my opinion. All right, so that was the second issue I had with the Nama. And then the third issue was when they sent me the new you know, top set, which was nice of them, and I appreciate that, and they do have good customer service. This is it right here, and you can see I was juicing turmeric and ginger in there. And I mean, I think I used it like the first or second time, and underneath the juicer, it was basically spouting out juice and dripping down the top. So I'm like, what the heck is happening? So I looked underneath the bottom, and basically, I figured it out that the juice was coming through this center shaft here. You know, and I was finding it was leaking through a center shaft and probably like a bad seal. So I basically emailed them pictures showing it was leaking here, and then they sent me the new bowl, which is currently assembled on the machine, which I'm not having this problem with, okay? Now the other thing that is a little bit more concerning to me than just the leakage, because hey, seals go bad, sometimes they're defective, sometimes they're not assembled properly. This is more concerning because it made me aware of this issue, because I was like, okay, is this seal on the top, which is a preliminary seal, because there's a seal inside the bearing assembly that's down in this whole assembly unit, is that an issue or what? And then I would see, like, I don't know if you guys can see in there, but underneath this little gasket, if we flip this up, right, there is junk and crud and like produce got lodged and wedged underneath there. If this goes unchecked and is not cleaned out, then what will happen to that produce? That produce will mold, grow black mold, and really not be good. So I was not aware of that could be a harborage point with the Nama, whether it's working properly or not, potentially, right? So if we pull out this other one, which actually, honestly, I haven't used that much. I mean, I've never really pulled up this little bushing here, this rubber bushing to see if there's any junk underneath there. if it's working properly and sealed properly, there shouldn't be any junk underneath there, but be forewarned that this may be a Harborage point, right? In addition, because there's an extra, bearing assembly and, this little shaft on here, that's another point that can heat up so that the auger could literally get stuck and frozen onto the machine, into the bowl. But in addition, this metal point could also freeze to the motor shaft here and get stuck on to this part as well. So you have 2 points that could potentially freeze up, and then you're trying to get this off and it doesn't come off. And other YouTubers with the Nama have had this issue. This could also happen with the Omega, but to a much lesser degree, because there is only 1 point that can lock up on you, which is the point that comes out of the motor, the shaft there, or the shaft on the bottom of the auger. So let me show you guys the difference. So here's the differences in the bowls, right? The bowl on this is a lot easier to clean because there's just one center that has a hole that the auger actually goes down into. There's not a dual, bushing setup, which is kind of cool on some levels, which makes cleaning a little bit more difficult because now you got that Harborage point on there. And on this machine, there's none of that extra assembly on there to fail or heat up and actually kind of like lock things in place. So if this is assembled on there, actually which goes on fine, you could just wrench it up a little bit and wiggle it and jiggle it, and then it'll finally come off. So this will be disassembled easier. Plus, you don't have all the Harborage points. I mean, this little, black gasket is pretty difficult to get off, and I don't even know if you should get that off, because if you get it off, you might rip it or tear it, and then it would be a Harborage point, and then allow, juice and other, debris down into the motor shaft, which would not be good. Whereas on the Omega, this part is easily removable. Once again, I don't recommend you guys remove it that often, but maybe at least once a month minimally, to clean and make sure when you put it back in, you assemble it the right way. So the side that actually has a lot more gasket material goes up on the top, and the other side goes on the bottom. So this is a lot easier to clean, so a less Harborage point. And the other thing is less parts to fail, right? I probably also just talked about this in my big comparison video, but after having this issue with this machine, which is probably a random occurrence and probably rarely happens because I don't exactly know, but I did want to let you guys know and be aware of this because it was an issue that I personally had, that honestly I wish I didn't have, but here's the thing. I tell it like it is. If I get a machine that's not working properly, I'm going to just say this is what happens. Some people wouldn't do that. But I want you guys to know the full truth and nothing but the truth. My experiences, that's all I'm sharing with you guys. You could reject my experiences, although I'm telling them to you guys. I'm not making anything up here, and that's up to you. But I'm here to share with you guys the truth so that you guys can make the best informed decision. I mean, after all, you guys are spending $400 on a juicer that should last you a long time. In the case of the VSJ, it has a 15-year warranty in the entire machine. The Nama, has a long warranty on the motor, 10 years. But then on the juicer parts, it's a shorter 2-year warranty. Although they say they'll take care of you after that fact, but on paper it's only 2 years, which is enforceable by law. After that, you're up to the will if they, choose to, take care of you or not. So I don't really know what's going to happen there. So once again, I want you guys to make a solid investment in your health. I only got into juicing because I had failing health. I almost lost my life. I turned my health around with juicing, and even to this date, during the virus especially, I've been drinking nearly 70 ounces of juice every day, minimum, sometimes even more. The juicer is my #1 appliance that I use to, get more nutrient-dense, immune-enhancing, health-promoting phytochemicals from the fruits and vegetables, mostly vegetables and leafy greens, into me. And that's what I want for you guys as well. I want you guys to get a good, solid investment. And if you think that's a Nama, great. If you think that's an Omega VSJ, great. What I would encourage you guys to do is support me in my work, because I bring you guys these videos with my insight that nobody else in the world can. And if you guys appreciate my videos, please support me by making your purchase at discountjuicers.com. We sell the Nama, we sell the Omega, I sell all the major brands that I'm able to sell, because I don't care what juicer I sell you, I want to sell you guys on the concept of juicing, and I want you guys to get the juicer that's going to be right for you, the one that's going to be easy to use, and more importantly, the one you're going to use on a regular basis so you could derive the health benefits of fruits and vegetables that I and many of my customers have found in the past. So I want to thank you guys in advance for those of you guys that will purchase from me, and I want to thank you guys for those of you guys that have purchased from me in the past, because you are literally the reason why I'm here, and am able to do what I do and show you guys the information I do that literally you're not going to hear anywhere else on YouTube, because I basically tell like it is, right? Some manufacturers love me, some manufacturers hate me, and I accept that. I just do my job to tell you guys the truth, and I think manufacturers that appreciate me because I tell the truth, and you know, I think that's really cool, you know, that they do that. And I'm also here to help them out. You know, I get machines in advance of it being released to the public. I will tell them, hey, you guys need to change this and this and this, in my opinion. Sometimes I make the changes, sometimes they don't, and that's all right, because what I want is I want a better juicer for everybody, and I don't care what brand that is. Honestly, I just want it better for everybody, because I'm a juicer myself, and I want my job, because I'm about to juice 2 gallons of green juice today, I want my job easier. And if my job's easier, then your job's easier. And one day, hopefully, I could just say, buy this juicer, it's the best, and I don't have to make any more comparisons. And maybe that day is coming really soon. So that's pretty much it I got for this episode. Hopefully, you guys learn more about the Nama juicers, some of the pros, some of the cons, and if I'm actually biased or not, so I can explain myself in a video and just bring it to you like it is. So if you guys enjoyed this episode, want more like this, hey, thumbs up this video. Please be sure to share this with other people that are considering the Nama, so they can kind of know the full truth and nothing but the truth, and my personal experience as a juicing expert that's been juicing now since 1995 on a regular, consistent basis. And I've been selling juicers online since 1998. Nobody else could make these statements. Also, be sure to click that subscribe button right down below so you don't miss out on my new upcoming episodes I come out every 5 to 7 days. Make sure you click the little bell so you get notified as my new videos come out. And finally, be sure to check my past episodes. My past episodes are a wealth of knowledge. Over 500 episodes at this time on this YouTube channel dedicated to teach you guys all about the best appliances to process fruits and vegetables so that you guys can get them into you and get healthier, build your immune system, and even lose weight like so many of my customers have told me in the past. So with that, my name is John Kohler with DiscountJuicers.com. Be sure to visit DiscountJuicers.com/YouTube for special promotional offers for our YouTube visitors.